And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big Sean McCarthy.
All right, well, welcome to the Weighing In Podcast, where we just saw UFC 313 and a new champion with Magomed Ankalaev getting a decision victory over the defending champion in Alex Poatan Pereira. Well, we're going to talk about that. There's all kinds of other fights. Justin Gaethje had his comeback fight. Did he do well? I think he did well. We'll talk about that. But there's so many things to talk about because it's daylight saving time and we're losing another hour. So it's going to be really late before we go to bed.
It's almost 5. It'll almost be 5 a.m. by the time we're done filming this. And you
Damn.
Here. You got to get up and do work in an hour.
Dude, I got to go feed animals.
You might as well feed them before bed.
Dude, I just fed my dog.
I mean, look, as for tonight, man, it was actually a great card. There was a little bit of a drag, I think, in the main event, but it was a very strategic drag. It was, it is what it is. And why. Yeah. And, it was just one of those episodes. It was just one of those fights that there was strategy behind both sides. And knowing that one person has knockout power and devastating leg kicks, and the other one's got speed and some power, as he showed tonight, and obviously the ability to wrestle and kind of change it up and mix it up. So it was a good card tonight. Couple fights delivered on a high end, and and you said it was the return of Justin Gaethje. It was also a return of Fiziev. I mean, he's been out for almost 2 years, and it was good to see him back in there. It's so hard to fight someone like a Justin Gaethje, who is a pressure fighter, and be able to withstand the 3 rounds. And he did a great job, not having a full camp. Basically, he took the fight on short notice. All those things, he fought amazing. He fought amazing. So, look, we're gonna break into all this though and stuff. But John, it has been a long day. I'm gonna tell you a little story today. My son, he got selected again for this thing they call the UIL. And it's like he gives a presentation amongst his school, and he took first place in his school. And so it's like oral reading where he stands up in front of the whole school and they present to the whole school. And then basically the teachers vote. And then and last year he took first and this year he took first. And then he goes to like the districts, basically. It's like where they have all the schools in his district and they all compete. And I felt kind of heartbroken for him today because he got to that level of qualifying and then he would have made it to the finals. And I think they take like 10 kids or whatever from the finals or something. And I felt kind of bad for him because he's like, I walked in and it's supposed to be like oral presentation where you basically animate yourself a little bit and you got to read. It's oral reading. You're supposed to be reading from the book. And he walked in and there was just one kid. It was a high school kid. They basically go through a level. So you get to that and there's like a high school kid that judges you. And he's like, the kid didn't even look up when I was presenting the whole time. He was looking down. And he's like, how does he know what I was doing? And he goes, how does he know that I was reading from the book or if I just memorized it? He just got super frustrated. And I felt so bad. I didn't know what to say. I was just like, I said, well, son, every judge is different, and I give him the analogy of, how judges in fighting, they perceive a broken rule, how they break rules. And, one eye poke is different than another eye poke and one nut shot is different than a nut shot. And every judge sees it differently on what they think is enough to take a point, not to take a point, all those things. Anyway, so it kind of was like, hey, this judge or this, someone that was judging you today, maybe there was something he heard. He just didn't, it wasn't the next level. So he was really frustrated. And so he didn't win. And I was just like, I felt bad because last year he was told basically because he got to the same round last year and he didn't advance to the second round last year. Or to the final round. There was like the final round of like 10. He didn't advance that round because they told him like, you were amazing, but your thing was too short. So because last year it was his first year ever doing UIL. They didn't have this in California. And so he picked the shortest one, not realizing like, oh, this is a short one. It was like literally like 5 lines. And so he's like, it was so super easy. So this year he picks the fucking longest one. And so it was like 3 pages. And so he's given a full-on presentation, and the kid like basically just walked in when he looked up when he walked in and didn't look up the rest of the time. And I felt so bad. Like you just want, you feel for your kids in those kind of situations. So I didn't know, we had a good conversation. It kind of helped too that he had another friend that he is really close with. He was also in the oral reading competition, and he didn't make it either. So they were both kind of like, well, we did the best we could. It was kind
someone to commiserate with.
Yeah, misery loves company. Like you know, misery does love company.
You know, the one thing I will tell you is you got to get him to understand. First off, why are you doing it? Are you doing it for that judge, or are you doing it for yourself? Why are you in this competition?
I think he just likes to compete, and also
okay.
I know he likes to present, because even in his old school when he was at Valley Christian, he won both of those when he was in second and third grade, and so he loves it. So he likes to compete. So he took first place in both of those, and then he went to compete against fourth and fifth graders, also third, fourth, and fifth graders when he was in second grade, and he ended up taking first when he was in second grade. He took third when he was in third grade. And so that's, I think when he got here, he's like, oh, this is going to be easy. But then it just,
it ain't that easy.
Yeah, it's not. But I mean, you don't know what they're looking for. I go, it's a judging criteria kind of thing. So
the first thing he needs to understand is the most important person to think you did well is yourself. Go out there, do your best. You'll know if you did good or not.
Yeah. And
let the chips fall where they fall. Some people are going to like what you do. Some people aren't. You can't worry about that. You just do the best you can.
Yeah. I think
I know that doesn't help when they're at his age right now and stuff, but it's the truth.
He does listen. He listens to that type of response. And I think with him, we just try to spend as much time reinforcing the fact how proud we are. Because on the way there, I had to tell him, like, at 10 years old, like, I was not getting in front of
to speak in front of people,
especially like upperclassmen, like high school kids, and then moving on to teachers. I'm like, no, there's just no way. You're not. I remember in 7th and 8th grade, I had to give up and give like my oral book report, and it was like I was dreading it. It was like I was so stressed. This kid's done it since he was in 2nd grade. I'm like, dude, you've already got us beat. Like, you've already got, this is awesome. So, but it's trying to just kind of console your child, like in those moments of disappointment. It's very hard. It's very hard. Like, you feel
it's all, the one thing I will tell you is that it's one of those. I love the fact that you're letting him compete in all these different things, and sometimes he's gonna succeed, and sometimes he's gonna fail. But you're gonna learn more from the failures, and the failures are gonna end up being what makes you who you are.
Yeah, I would agree. I've been through a lot of failures in my life, a lot of fuck ups and failures.
There's nothing wrong with failing.
No, and
failing is a chance to learn.
Yeah, I was always able to kind of just shine it on, like, you know what, next time, whatever. He wears his heart on his sleeve, so like if he makes a mistake in the back in playing defense for soccer, like, he'll get emotional. Like, he fucks up into lacrosse, he gets emotional. This, you could tell he got quiet in the back seat for the car ride home, and nothing a little ice cream couldn't fix. We got it figured out.
Ice cream fixes everything, dude.
We went and got some pho because it was rainy today. So we went and got some soup today, and after that we got done. We got some boba and then a little bit of ice cream. Man, the kid was spoiled, so we had a good time.
See,
we spent the rest of the day because it was lightning and thunder. Little bit of lightning and some thunder today, and a lot of rain. So
really, it was a beautiful day where I was at.
Yeah, it'll get to you tomorrow.
Thank God. No, I don't want it.
It'll get to
blow it towards the Gulf.
All right,
the Gulf of America.
I know that you guys are always like, hey, let's get to the fights, and I get it. But you guys, we're up at 3, and this is 3 in the morning, 2 and 3 in the morning right now.
Things to talk
you guys
about.
are not going to watch this until 6, 7, 8, 9 in the morning tomorrow. So calm down, guys. We're doing you guys a solid here, okay? Hey, okay, let's just jump right into it, man. But hey, this episode is brought to you by BetUS. Make sure you guys use the YouTube 150 promo code, and want to thank you guys so much for continuing to support us. I got some good news, ladies and gentlemen.
Our podcast, Weighing In, was the first podcast to ever partner with OnlyFans,
bringing you guys the best content we possibly can in the combat sports industry. We are making some leeway on bringing sports to the OnlyFans platform,
where top-tier, world-class athletes can connect with their fans. We're talking about combat sports athletes like Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, Chris Cyborg,
Luke Rockhold,
AJ McKee.
You've also got pro surfers like Billy Kemper, some chilling news.
I want you to head on over to the Weighing In OnlyFans channel.
More connection with our fans on our OnlyFans channel.
Only available on OnlyFans.
Also, we got Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. The whole breakdown of this fight was, the lead up, I should say, was Ankalaev said he's going to stand with him the whole time. This was months ago, 6-7 months ago, maybe less than that, 5-6 months ago. And he said it in tweets. He said it in response. He said it in interviews. And then when you go back and you look at the tweets, he deleted them. And so, I mean, if I'm Alex, I'm thinking this guy's going to come out wrestling. He's basically trying to retract all the things that he had said that he was going to do.
Doesn't want the evidence out there.
Yeah, he doesn't want the evidence out there. So that being said, and then that expectation for Alex was like, okay, look, be ready. The wrestling's coming. And it kind of did a little bit, but not at the level of which made him so hesitant in this fight, John. And I've always said this. You guys, when you see fighters that are so good on the feet, but they don't really have wrestling, that hesitation is really all you need to land that knockout. And I go back to the Conor and the Khabib fight. Conor had pretty damn good wrestling, takedown defense.
He has very good wrestling.
Yeah. But just Khabib's was better.
Yes.
But that's what opened up the ability to make them think for that split second. And when you're talking the best guys in the world, in that top 10, that top 15, it only takes a split second to get caught and clipped. And we saw it a little bit too with Ankalaev. The threat of the wrestling, he was able to catch Poatan with that beautiful shot towards the end of the round.
Yeah.
And that same thing happened in the Khabib fights, happened before in other fights. Just when we talk about the sport of MMA, you have to be an MMA artist. You have to be a mixed martial artist if you want to be at the tippy top of this sport. And Ankalaev is the more well-rounded fighter. He has more ways of winning this fight, and he proved it tonight. I love Poatan. I want him to hopefully he continues fighting, which I think he will. Obviously, he makes too much money. But this is one of those things.
Spends it too.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. But this is a masterclass of what being well-rounded does for you. It made him so hesitant. He was moving backwards, what he doesn't normally do.
That was one of the big elements of the entire fight, was the fact that Ankalaev, for the most part, made him move backwards, and he doesn't fight the same moving backwards. He's not as aggressive. He's not as offensive, and he's just a guy that needs to come forward, which is normal with most fighters.
I was going to say, in all fairness, how many fighters do you know off the top of your head that can fight going backwards?
There's very few that fight well going backwards. I mean, it's hard to pick them out. Even Izzy, who fights well going backwards, is better going forwards.
Oh yeah,
and that's just the way it is. You're going to get, most people don't understand that. First off, going backwards burns more energy. It's tougher on. It's harder on your legs. Your legs tend to get a little bit more tired in a quicker fashion when you're going backwards. And it's that you don't have the ability to control. You're trying to get away compared to trying to track down. And getting away from someone sometimes is, you can get on your horse and try to move, but you've got the cage, or you've got the ropes if you're in boxing, and it becomes a hindrance in your movement, and that makes you uncomfortable unto itself. So there's all kinds of things that happen with it. I thought one of the best parts of Ankalaev's game plan was the fact that he said, I'm moving forward. I am going to move forward. And when he took, he probably took, 7 or 8 low leg kicks within the first minute and a half. And I was like, well, moving forward is good, but you can't sit there and take those, because it's going to be the same thing that happened with Blachowicz. Your leg's going to start to go dead, but he put so much pressure that he still kept, getting kicked, but he took a lot of those off just by the pressure he was putting and stuff. And he threw some good kicks himself at times.
Are you surprised that he didn't go to the inside like how Jan Blachowicz did, and he went more on the outside?
Yep.
I thought he would mix it up a little bit more. Inside, outside, inside, outside.
I mean, you've got he's very good. And, one of the things with Alex that gives people problems, in my opinion, just watching him, is he doesn't blade that much. He's pretty square, and normally you're facing a guy, you're going to tell people, I want you to blade your body, whichever way, if it's southpaw or orthodox, whatever it's going to be. But he's pretty square, but that's part of what makes him difficult, because he's standing there and he doesn't wind up. He doesn't wind up at anything. Everything is tight and short, and he throws a little, he'll throw a hook or throw an overhand, or when he kicks, he just doesn't turn to, he's not trying to emphasize that power. He just has the power. Mm-hmm. And so he can do that. And it's something that hurts somebody, where other people have to, they have to turn their hips, have to turn their shoulders. They have to move their feet in a certain way. And Alex has that ability, but the pressure of Ankalaev during the fight took a lot of it away. He got hit, Ankalaev got hit. He did, I thought he did a great job of when Poatan was trying to kick him to the legs, he was always trying to respond with a counter of that left hand coming down the pipe, that's what you do. You want to kick my leg, I'm going to make you pay for it. And he did that a lot. He missed a lot of it, but a couple of times that he landed it, and you could see that, it bothered Alex, and Alex kind of stayed away from the kicking for a little bit. Then he kind of went back to it. But overall, the game plan for Ankalaev, even though he tried a lot of takedowns, but he wasn't successful with them. But it's just that the fact that they were there, and Alex knew that he wanted to, and like you're saying, it makes a difference in his offense. He was hesitant. He was much more hesitant tonight than he was in any of the fights that you've seen him. He's normally walking through people and throwing a lot of offensive shots. In this one, his output was half.
Yeah, like I said, just bringing the wrestling to the table. Just a slight thread of it whatsoever. And the first round, I think Ankalaev just gave away. He was kind of, let me fill him out. Let me see what the talk is about. The leg kicks are having an effect. He switched stance a couple times. I think he just wanted to kind of see what it was all about. And the second round, he came out and he had a little bit more success. And just not really having to focus on having to get the takedown, but making you think about the takedown is all it takes sometimes. Knowing that, especially when you're in a position like Poatan, man, if I get taken down, I went back and watched some of the fights. Like Jan Blachowicz was able to take him down, get his back, control him. Like the guys got him down. Sometimes he didn't get up for the whole round.
Yeah.
So he fights as hard as he can to keep that position on his feet and circle and get off the fence. Overall, when I look at Ankalaev, he did everything he needed to do to become the champion. I could have seen it going 3-2 to Poatan, 1-3-5. I could end, but then
could have.
Not arguing the other way either.
No.
It was one of those fights where it I don't know, it just came down to, how you looked at it and what you thought shots landed and the angle in which you were watching the TV, like how the judges are watching, like where they're at. So, but overall, I know it wasn't the barn burner or the knockout finish that we all wanted, but the difference is this is one of those fights where strategically they both had to play it safe. Ankalaev couldn't reach and leave himself out of position because he'd get knocked the fuck out, and Poatan had to be very cautious and careful of overextending and throwing more than 2 punches because he'll get taken down. So one of those mistakes on each end. I mean, they're so evenly matched, just in different ways. But the overall was the true mixed martial artist came out on top. And I think, and that's really what it comes down to, is when you're such a well-rounded fighter, you have the ability more options to win the fight. And that's kind of what I was talking about on Twitter a little bit. It was like, the person who has the more options is obviously going to be Ankalaev. Now, does he use those options because he doesn't wrestle a whole lot? And in this case, he didn't need to get the takedowns. He just needed to threaten it. That's all.
He wrestled more tonight than I've seen him in his last 5 fights. So, so he did exactly what he was supposed to do. I think he followed the game plan that they had for him. And that's why he's the champ. You can't, you're going to get people that are going to say, oh, no, I thought Alex won. Okay. You can sit there and say, well, he definitely won 1. 3 was real close.
Yeah.
And it could, okay, you want to say he won it. I thought he did 5, it
was also close.
It was, but he landed the better shots. You can look at Ankalaev slowing it down really with the grappling and wasn't able to do anything with it with the clinch against the cage. But you could just as easily say, well, Ankalaev lost the first one, but then he won the second one definitely.
Yeah, he did.
And closely won the third, and he definitely won the fourth.
Yeah.
And could have closely won the fifth. So
yeah,
I mean,
it could have been a landslide one other way.
Yeah.
So and that's what's funny is in the judging, had it been 4-1, everyone was like, "Oh, this is a robbery. This is bullshit." No. The rounds are really this close.
One of the judges had it 4-1.
Okay, there you go. You know, and so, but then John, this is one of those fights that I really feel like would benefit from a half-point system.
Oh yes,
you know what I mean. Like it would have benefited. Not that someone won a round very clearly, except for Ankalaev won the second round very clearly. And even one, I gave it to Alex, but I thought it was a clear win for Alex. But I'm saying though, you know what I mean. Like one shot could have changed the direction of that fight, or the direction of that round. I mean,
yeah.
Ankalaev, you know, good on him. Look, it's very difficult for someone like for a Muslim fighter to jeopardize their religion to achieve their goals. You know, I mean, I know that he didn't follow his Ramadan, you know, that last week. His camp was pretty much done. You know, last week he said, you know, literally like last Wednesday, I think he said, look, camp is over. I'm good. And, you know, and so that it's difficult to go through that portion of it, but Ramadan just started. So he really didn't. He pretty much was able to finish his camp while just starting Ramadan the last couple of days, or just finishing up on Ramadan's start. So, but overall though, I mean, I thought he looked good. You know what I did love though, John, was his coaches. His coaches were in his face.
Oh yeah,
you are faster than him. You can do like they were pleading with him to wrestle, but they were pleading with him also to throw more punches and throw combinations because he did physically, he did seem faster than Alex. He seemed like his shots got there quicker than Alex was able to counter.
I thought he had, well, and it just goes back to that forward motion, that ability to, you know what, I'm going to drive you back. I'm going to put you on your heels. And for the most part, Alex was on his heels.
It was the hesitation of being taken down. So yeah, a little bit of that too.
Which, you know, that'll, you know, make you a little bit apprehensive, which now that things don't come out with the fluidity and the speed that they normally did. You know, Alex is not slow, but Ankalaev is not slow.
No,
Ankalaev's he's got fast hands. He moves well. He's a good athlete. That's why, you know, that's why he won. And he did.
Okay. Let me wrap up on this though. Were the questions answered? Can the guy stop wrestling takedowns? I mean, like, can we get past this now? Like, Alex has fought a wrestler. He didn't get taken down. He actually got the takedowns.
Dude, that foot sweep at the end of the fourth round, it was absolutely beautiful.
He hit it twice.
Why didn't you do it earlier?
He hit it twice, though. One earlier where Ankalaev just fell to his knee, and then he kind of backed away and made space. And then the second one, he literally just flung him to the ground. I was like, oh, beautiful. Beautifully done. And I'm surprised that more fighters don't do it, especially with how easy it is for guys to be on skates on that canvas. Yeah. I'm surprised that more fighters don't try to foot sweep. I mean, not only if you recall my last fight with Gil Melendez, I hit him with that little trip, just knowing that the canvases were pretty slick, especially as the fight went on, and just being able to foot sweep and pull it to you, or just foot sweep in terms of, you know, hitting him with a little trip. It works, man. It works. And it's so effortless too. And I'm surprised more fighters don't do it, especially in that clinch. A lot more Thai fighters. Like Fiziev's done it a couple times. Who was the guy that was it Riddle? Riddle? Did he fight Riddle?
Fiziev? Yeah, Brad Riddell.
Yeah, there you go. And he hit him with the spinning heel kick or the kick, whatever. Yeah, hurt him really bad.
Up against Cage.
Yeah, fight stopped, I think, after that. But I mean, in that fight, I believe he hit a couple foot sweeps. Brad Riddell did. He hit like a foot sweep on him. But it was beautiful. I mean, like, I think they're just so effortless. As soon as you get into the clinch, if you're able to hit those right away when they're unexpected and they're stepping in, money stuff. But
very true.
I love the corners. They were on him. You know what the game plan is. Stick with it. You need to wrestle more. Set up your striking. You're faster. Don't be afraid to throw. Like, I loved how intense they were with him. And, you know, he achieved his life goal because of that. So I think the corners helped out a lot because you could see after the first round, a little bit into the third, he got away after the second. He was like, okay, look, I got this. And then the third, he didn't come out with the same. Alex had to make changes, and he had to make changes. And so it takes a good corner to keep you on track.
Yeah.
Like, you know the rules, like, you know what we've been working on, like, get back to it. And it was very pleasant to hear good cornering, because sometimes you don't, John. You know,
Sometimes you don't.
Does this ruin any talk of Alex versus Usyk or Johns Jones?
Say goodbye to that.
the John Jones thing, I would say yes. I think it ruins that. The Usyk thing, I don't think so, only because we all know Alex is a stand-up guy. You know, I don't know if Usyk would still take it. I mean, that's a Usyk thing, but look, they're all now under this little banner, so I don't think it really matters who. I think as long as they're getting paid, they don't give a shit.
Are they into this? Is Usyk going to be
He's
signed
with
with
Turkey?
Turkey? Yeah, that's true.
He's already pretty much with them. Yeah, I mean, with the Tyson Fury fights, like, wow, this guy just made me fucking $500 million. I'm gonna go ahead and just keep fighting.
I'll stay with him.
I'll stay with him. Yeah.
True.
So, yeah. Overall, though, I know a lot of people probably weren't happy with the performance, and they're probably whining and crying. Ankalaev's a boring fighter. He's this, he's that. I guess we're going to see what he is like as a champion. You know, like, it's not easy to be the best guy in the top for a long time. He's been a number one contender for fucking 2 years.
Yep.
You know, and he should have got a title shot a while back, and he kind of hosed himself, but he kind of, you know, got hosed also. A little bit of both. But we're going to see what happens. Ramadan will be done here shortly, and he will continue, and hopefully we'll see him back in the cage sometime around mid, you know, like not September, probably like August, you know, July, August, somewhere around that time.
Who do you see getting a shot at him first?
You know, I think it kind of just plays out on if Khalil Roundtree, honestly, if Khalil gets a win, I could see them maybe doing that, because he's got some power. He's got good takedown defense. Khalil does.
He does.
You know, or Yuri.
Yeah, it's one of those. Yuri's coming off of a knockout loss, though, and you look and you go, Yeah. I think it's actually a good matchup, but I don't see them going with Yuri right away. Just
Yuri's coming off of a dub against Jamal.
That's right. He is. That's right.
Yeah, I could see them doing that fight. You know, yeah, I think I could see them doing that fight, the Yuri fight.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know how many chances you're going to give Yuri, but John, this is where we're at with this weight class. We're kind of recycling through. You know,
well, there's Dominic Reyes has been slowly coming back up. We'll see how
he's got a ways to go though, John.
Oh, I'm not saying he doesn't.
Yeah,
there's all kinds in there.
Yeah, I don't know. There's not like you've got Olberg, who's pretty much probably the closest, and maybe a Rakic. You know, I know he's coming off the 2 losses, but look, he hasn't dropped very much. That's the thing, John. He's got 2 losses in a row, and after like a 2-year layoff, and he's still ranked number 5. I mean, that tells you kind of that tells you
where that weight class is at.
Yeah, that weight class, what's going on in it. They just don't have the talent there to make any changes. They've got to keep them where they're at, because those are the ones that are actually the most active and the ones that are putting on the best shows. So I could see them putting Yuri in there probably sometime in July or August, September, somewhere in there. I would say probably sometime around July and August. You know, August is a very slow month. All the people are traveling for their kids before they go back to school. And so they're like, Ankalaev, let's put him then. No one's going to really watch. And let's go ahead and just think. That's going to be their mindset, I think. They're going to try to fight him in the end of July or August. Yeah.
We're going to see.
Yep. But I thought it was a very good fight for Ankalaev. I thought it was a strategic fight. So if you're not into that, if you're just a casual and you just like, the knockdown dragouts, I thought there was a lot of strategy that went into to getting that win for him in his camp.
There was.
Good on him.
My farm needs the earth, the air, and the water. I get my energy going on LMNT Electrolyte Drink Mix. Clean, good-tasting energy that feeds me like I feed my plants and animals. And after a long day on the tractor, when it's time to shoot the podcast, I drink LMNT so that I can stay energized and stay salty. Let's get it on.
Next fight,
Justin Gaethje giving Mr. Rafael Fiziev a second shot with the loss of the Dan Hooker. I thought that was pretty impressive that he said yes to a guy that is dangerous like Fiziev. Even the odds makers had Fiziev as the favorite in it. But Justin comes out with a very hard fought and justified win in that. I had it at 29-28. I thought Fiziev won the first round, and then Justin came on, and it was really to me it was, this is where you'll notice a fighter like Fiziev. His technique is fantastic. He's just beautifully trained, and the way he does things. But when he's in this position of he only had the couple of weeks to get himself prepared for the fight, he put so much energy out in that first round and a half that this is a guy, when you're watching him and he's fighting, he uses his feet incredibly well. And when I say he uses his feet, what I'm talking about is a good striker moves himself with his feet in and out to avoid. That's what gets you out of danger. Now, he sometimes does like the lean back and things like that, which only
good strikers can do.
There you go. That's the truth. But you saw in the second half of that fight, his feet stopped for a lot of it because he was getting tired and he was getting caught in that phone booth area with Justin, which meant he had to sling with Justin in the area that Justin's the best at. The Justin Gaethje fighting in a phone booth, he loves, he's got certain combinations that he throws, and he throws, a beautiful right uppercut with a left hook, and he does this over and over, and he's effective with it. And then that's how he dropped him in the second round, was that same thing right inside. And Gaethje went back to being the same fighter he was as far as the first time he fought Fiziev, because I thought he fought him the first time, fought him smart, didn't get into so much the brawl, and dominated when he could on the inside. Well, he went back to trying to dominate on the inside, and it worked for him.
No, it definitely did. He had success in those tight quarters, but this honestly, I've seen him fight so many times, John, but tonight was very eye-opening for me. Justin Gaethje is not a striker like any other striker we've seen, and not so much in terms of like how he fights. It's really like how he moves his body. It's he's not a traditional style like boxer or kickboxer or any of those. Like even his kicks, look how hard they are, and these fighters have told everyone how hard that he kicks. But his leg kicks look like trash. Like you see him, and like a weird, like it's a weird kick. It just looks weird. But everybody says they're so painful. I remember talking to some past guys that had trained with him, and also past guys that had fought him in the World Series of Fighting. Like, man, his leg kicks are nasty. Like 2 or 3, and you're done for the whole fight. I'm like, yeah. As you're just like, okay. Yeah, but sure. What it is, what I saw tonight was very eye opening. Is I didn't realize how well he fights inside that phone booth. Only because I didn't realize that he dips his head so much, but he's got a very similar, like he understands his combinations where he works, but where most people work really well in those tight quarters is because they keep their punches tight. It always looks like he's swinging loopy, but he's not. No. He actually punches very well in tight quarters. So the uppercut where he clinched the head and pulled the head down into the uppercut, brilliant. But then when he comes out of that, he pulls his hand straight down, elbow up, and he loops around almost like a Fedor style with the overhand right. He does a great job of that. And most people, when they loop with the overhand right, their arm gets so extended that they end up wrapping around the back of the head,
they club.
Yeah, or what they do is they reach it, they try to overcompensate and bring it in, and then they miss while the person dips back. But he's found that sweet spot. He knows what the range is. If his head almost is still touching the belly button, he knows he can land. And it just seems like when he dips, his head is used to being in certain positions, and he knows where that opponent's head is, and he lands almost every single time. It's brilliant, John, because he doesn't move. He doesn't strike and fight like any other fighter we've ever seen before. And that's why he's so successful. His kicks are janky, but they're effective. His boxing has got power, but he fights better in a phone booth than I've ever seen. A lot of the, especially I've ever seen an MMA guy. And I didn't really truly recognize it until tonight. And I feel like a total idiot because I've seen him fight at least 10, 15 times.
You look and you go, the place to fight him. And I thought the place for Fiziev to actually be successful is be at distance, be at range. Don't let him come in. He'll make those rushes and stuff. But when he does, circle out and make it to where the range is on your side. Dustin Poirier, when he fought him, you can go back and look when he was successful. He fought at range, hurt him at range, and then came in and finished him off, in the first one, but lost in the second one. He's a unique fighter. And if there's one thing about, Gaethje, when you look at him, if there's any doubt about how tough he is, because he takes shots and he always does the same thing. He takes shots and he's like,
no, he's like this.
Yeah. That's what I said.
Gives little hand gestures. Come on.
Oh, it is. He's like blinking his eye because, that hurt, but come on. And I'm like, you are a tough son of a bitch.
He's an animal, man.
Oh,
He's a freaking animal. Love the respect he showed tonight. I thought he fought a brilliant fight. He put himself in jeopardy a couple of times, but he fought his way out of it. He didn't take too many risks, but he knew exactly where he was at in terms of fighting smart the whole fight. Just a brilliant performance tonight, coming off the knockout loss that he had and making slight adjustments, but not changing who he was. Some guys, when they get knocked out, or some guys, when they come off a loss, they try to revamp themselves. If it's like the whole world has changed, like, man, I suck now. No, you're still really good. You just got caught, or you made a mistake, or you just got to work on that one thing that got you in that position. He knows what he's good at. He knows what butters his bread. Like, he knows it. I mean, he's that head dip. He fights like no other fighter does. He comes up. He's got his set combinations that he knows works really well with it. It's no different than, remember the Jake Shields thing I talk about all the time. Is Jake had like 3 or 4 moves, but they were so perfected in what he did that he could get to them from anywhere. And it just runs back to that old saying. I mean, what was it? I fear the guy who practices one move 1,000 times versus a guy who practices 1,000 moves one time. It's very true. Like, and I have this conversation with my son all the time. Like, hey, stop trying to do all this stupid shit, like this fancy dumb stuff, with your lacrosse ball and soccer ball. Like, just practice the one damn move and get really good at it.
Basics.
It really is. And I learned a lot of that too from the guys from AOJ, Bahamondes, Guillermo Mendez. They spend so much time drilling at not drilling, not fight pace, but they spend a lot of time drilling slowly. Then as it gets better, they pick it up, and as they get better and faster and they get better partners, they drill it faster and faster and faster. But it's a lot of drilling. And he's had repetition countless times of sparring, and it shows because his combinations he has set, they work for him, and he goes to the well on them all the time. And it's not a combination that fighters are used to seeing, because we're not used to fighters' heads being down by our belly buttons. Yeah. And guys being able to have a tight enough punch coming over the top of the overhand right, or then basically winging a left hook, but not even really winging a left hook over the top, but then just kind of clinching the head and then coming back up with the uppercut. That style is very difficult and for fighters to deal with, because you don't mimic that inside the gym. You don't have guys mimic that in the gym. You're just thinking like, oh, he's got sloppy stand up, I'll catch him in the transition. But it's different when you get out there and have to deal with his ass. Like, damn, he hits hard. Damn, he kicks hard. Damn, he's not as easy to take down as I thought. Like he has
actually Fiziev did a great job with 2 takedowns early, right?
He did.
You go, wow.
Yeah, I was very surprised. And the way he actually got that upside down triangle.
Almost right. It was more of a scissor.
Yeah, it was more of a scissor, but he was able to kick himself back. If you go back and watch, he actually had it where Fiziev's face was on the ground, and he actually pushed off the ground and kicked his legs back and sat back on him so he could sit on his head and just elbow the body. I'm surprised he wasn't more active in that position. It was almost like, oh, I'm comfortable here. Let me enjoy up here in the moment, and just when he should have been trying to get to work on the thighs, or the ribs or something with those elbows, and now, the 12-6 is legal. He should have been trying to get more busy with that when he had that position. So, but overall, I thought this was probably, to me, it was fight of the night. It was another one of those fights that was very, the game plans were played out. Like, it was set, and Fiziev had to do the best he could with what he had in terms of cardio, because he won the first, lost the second, but he came out really hard in the third. I skipped, a couple rounds,
just a couple rounds,
but he came out really hard in the third, and it was a fantastic start to the third round. I was like, oh wow, he got his second win, and then he got tired with a minute 20 left against Justin Gaethje. fuck no. That's not where you want to be. That's
No.
just not where you want to be, right?
It's not.
Jalen Turner and Ignacio Bahamondes.
This was a surprising fight for me. I thought, Bahamondes is very good on the feet, and I really enjoy his style. I looked at it and I thought Jalen is faster, and we looked and said, I looked at Bahamondes actually winning the fight over time, but when he went to his back, I was like, what are you doing? That's never been your. I know nothing about anything he does. I know nothing about the sport because, man, he did exactly what he wanted to do. He stayed there for a little bit, put him in danger, and then finished him off with the triangle. You got to give him credit. I thought it was going to be a stand-up fight. I did not see either guy really wanting to go to the ground so much in it, but obviously Ignacio knew, where he thought he had a superior skill set, and he caught Jalen. I heard that Jalen is retiring. That would be a shame. He is still, in a position right now. He's 30 years old. I want to say 29. It's not the time to retire, Jalen. There's too much for you to do. You're too good of a fighter. You have too much skill. You just got to tighten up in certain areas. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
He could fight with, just about anybody in the lightweight division and give him a fight and just, come out on top in a lot of them. So I hope he does not. I hope he gets his mind right, understands that he's got a long career ahead of him if he's willing to, put up with the training and stuff. And sometimes that's what, guys get tired of that, but you're going to miss it and wish that you didn't walk away so early.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, it's one of those things, once you stop and then try to come back, you've lost all the progress you made.
Yeah, you're not getting better while you stopped.
No. I mean, it's one thing if you want to take a solid 4 months ooff, no training, nothing. If you want to go run, you want to lift weights, go get in shape, do whatever.
Be a triathlete. I don't care.
Yeah, go do a triathlon or, I don't know, do something that's fucking wild and crazy. Do something, but just get your mind away from, the sport itself and revamp yourself.
I found a new sport that I'm very interested in.
What's this?
Come on, man. The squirrel suits.
Oh,
right?
yes.
The squirrel suit. I've always wanted to do that. My wife is like, no, you're not doing that, because I've skydived and stuff. Well, oh yeah. But I saw a guy, instead of wearing a squirrel suit, he just had a carpet. like Aladdin's magic carpet.
Oh shit. Go ahead.
What? And he's got it rolled up, and he's holding on and jumps, and that carpet kind of goes on, and he's got his leg, and dude, he rides it just like the squirrel suit. I said, that's the thing to do. That is awesome.
Yeah, I did see that, John.
Did you?
That's
it was
crazy.
awesome.
It's wild.
Fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, the dumbest fucking thing I've ever fucking seen in my life. I mean, outside of jumping out of
you've heard of the flying carpets for how long? They're real.
No, they're not. John.
I saw it.
No, this is not Aladdin, dude. Okay,
dude, he was flying.
Yeah, that's wild. You know what I did see? I did see a new sport today too. I don't know if it's a real sport. I think they were just goofing around, but it was hockey players with lacrosse sticks. So they were playing lacrosse on a hockey rink. It was in shooting on hockey goals. It was pretty cool. I was like, pretty cool. Calvin's all, hey man, I got a new sport. I was like, son, you're gonna have to learn how to skate first.
You know how Habib and Islam and all of them do that
basketball, wrestling.
Have you seen that? There's a sport, and the big thing is you have to take off your shirt if you're going to grab someone.
Yeah,
and suplex them.
Fucking awesome. I would imagine it's a Dagestan thing.
Dude, I don't know. Whoever came up with the rules for that, boy, they did some thinking.
Oh, that's awesome.
Take off your shirt first.
Yeah, I'm just not down with you fucking suplexing me anytime.
Anytime. Dude, as soon as I'd be looking everywhere for something, you taking off your shirt.
And they don't do it gently.
Oh God, no. Dude, it's hard.
Yeah, it's very hard. Very hard. It was I've seen them. They run up and they kind of sneak behind the guy and they throw the shirt off real quick. And they boom, slam. That's insane. All right, Amanda Lemos versus Lucindo.
Boy, I tell you what, this is one of those ones where you know, Lucindo she was hot as far as, coming up, had some big wins. Marina Rodriguez being a big win, doing all kinds of good things. And I thought, that was the thing that we talked about, last week. I said, if she hadn't had like that win against Marina, I would have really been unsure about her going against Amanda. But yeah, she's been up against good enough competition. She's ready for it. No, she did not respond to that rise in level in this one. It just got to her. Everything seemed to be overwhelming to her. And you could see her, her coaches, you're talking about coaches, they were trying to, hey, I need this out of you. And it just, there's nights, I don't know if it's biorhythms or what you can call it. There's nights where, and I say it all the time, it's just not your night. And it's, the greats get through it anyways, sometimes with a win. But this one was one she wasn't going to get the win. And yeah. Amanda made it a boring fight. She really did for the most part. But it was a fight that was the way she needed to fight it to get a win. And she did it. And Lucindo is going to have to learn from everything that happened in that, 3 rounds that she was there. She's got to learn. Hey, sometimes you got to step it up early. When things don't feel like they're going right, you got to change things in the beginning. You can't wait till the end. And she tried, and she's a young fighter. She's going to get better, and she's going to be there for a while. But that was a nice win for Amanda coming off of some of the fights that she's had. So,
John, she's 23 years old.
Oh, I know.
She's a baby.
I know. And Lemos is what, 35? 36?
Yeah, something like that. But I think you could tell right off the bat. I think with the Marina Rodriguez fight, physically, Lucinda was just like, she was strong enough to able to lift her, take her down, control her, and do those things. I think she thought she was going to be able to come in there and do the same thing.
Couldn't do it, Lemos.
And you could just tell right when they clinched, that wasn't happening.
Yeah, Lemos was physically much stronger.
Much stronger. So, and which is, what also shocked me was that Lucindo decided to clinch every time she had some success on the feet. She landed a couple good shots and then closed the distance and grabbed. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And then right away would lose the position. All of a sudden, the underhook is gone. Mm-hmm. Now she's got, both hands on top. She's holding on to Amanda Lemos' head. You're going, well, this is not going good for you.
No.
But this is what happens when you're young in the sport. You have all this skill. You're a good fighter.
Yeah.
But you've got to learn, first off, there is levels to everything, but then you've got to learn when things aren't going your way. How do I change it from what I was planning on doing to now I got to change what I'm doing because it's not working?
Well, she changed it in the third because her corner got up in her ass and told her like, hey, and she came out aggressive and hard, got the takedown controlled. I mean, she lost, the position towards the end, but she fought a very good third round. She just started late. I think also too, there was a little bit of like shock that, man, Lemos is so strong and she's fast on the feet, and she was a little intimidated. I think she got a little intimidated in that fight, but she's 23 years old. On top of that, I've said this forever, is that women, I feel like, don't hit their stride until at 32, 33, 34, 35. Like you see the females really start having a lot of success towards the latter end of the career, towards the end there. Their ages, they just seem like they just perform a lot better at a high level at 32, 33, and so on and so forth, up to all the way up to like 40.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see, but look, she's got a long ways to go, a lot of maturity to do, a lot more skills to learn, and I expect her to pretty much kind of be reigning over this weight class as long as she gets back on track next fight. She'll be fine.
She has a skill set for it.
Yeah, she'll be fine. Mauricio Ruffy versus Bobby Green.
King Green, excuse me.
It still says Bobby and Sherdog. So.
I know, but it's, this is one of those. I love Bobby King Green. He's a great guy, but you can't fight everyone with your hands down now that you're a little bit older, and especially guys that are good at controlling distance. And if there was one thing that you saw from the very beginning, Bobby was having a problem with the distance in the fight. The range of the fight, where Mauricio Ruffy would set himself, how he would move in and out. It caused, Bobby actually looked almost, out of place at times, off balance, overextended. Anytime he was trying to do something, it just wasn't working for him. And then, there was a couple of beautiful feints in there by Ruffy that had Bobby biting on some of it, and then the kick, he never even saw it coming.
No,
He never saw that spin. By the time he saw it, it was hitting him, and it absolutely, he never felt it, so it's a good thing.
No.
Trust me, he didn't feel it, and but he was out. When your face is skidding across the canvas the way he was, down, that beautiful technique by Mauricio. This is one of those fights off of, his first fight was so impressive. Then his second fight, he tended to have a little bit of problems. Won the fight, but should have finished his opponent off, wasn't able to, and then coming back and having that one puts him right back in that position. He's calling for a main event at the Apex. Okay, well, hey, that's not bad. Do it.
Yeah, these guys are being very smart about it. I mean, they're nerds. So, right?
Hey.
He's from the fight nerds.
He's from the fight nerds.
I mean, it's very smart. Look, give me a main event. I'm not asking to do main event in Brazil or anywhere. I'm asking a main event right here in the Apex.
Yep.
I'm being realistic about it. I'm not trying to,
And the opponent that he picked.
Who did he pick? I didn't hear it.
Beneil Dariush.
Oh, it's brilliant. Brilliant pick.
Yeah.
Brilliant pick. Do you agree with the Conor-esque typeness? Or is it just because of the way he stands?
No, it's just the way he fights. I don't think he's trying to be Conor in any way. He doesn't have the same type personality and everything. He looks good and he fights well. And so I look forward to seeing what he does. He's young. You got to figure he's at that age now that Conor was when Conor was hot.
Mm-hmm.
When Conor was really blazing, he was 27, 28 years old. That's about where Mauricio's at right now. So he's got a lot of years left if he's gonna, be in this sport. We're gonna see some good things out of him. The guy can fight and he can control distance well.
No, I would agree. Absolutely. The way that wide stance helps you control distance. Remember when Henry was using it, Cejudo, and then, Conor obviously did it really well. And
look at Wonder Boy. He's used it forever
during that time. No, I would agree with you. Bree's so Ruffy though. Like he is extremely talented, has a lot to, and the fact that he has a team, they've got a group now. Like it makes it way more marketable for the UFC.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's from the nerd team. Nerd,
just them taking and putting tape on a pair of
it's brilliant.
frames. It's great.
Super easy. Where does Bobby go from here?
Let's be honest. It's not. It's not going in the direction that anyone's going to want to see. That's can he still fight? Yeah, he can still fight, but he's going to have to be fighting lower level guys. If he's going to stay in the UFC. He's got.
John, have you noticed though? Like he's technically like now become a tweener. He's like a 45er / 55er because he's getting older and the weight is just not transferring the same. As I've like when I got to the Tony Ferguson fight, I took a picture. I took a look at the pictures that I took for that UFC fight, and my body changed so much from that fight to when I fought Nate, and that was just 2 fights before that or 3 fights before that. Physically, my body just changed because I got older. It was 2.5, 3 years older since those 4 fights took place.
Yeah.
It just, my body physically changed. And I see a little bit of that in Bobby. He just looks, and I know standing next to Ruffy, he's just looked a lot smaller.
Yeah.
Physically, but I also noticed his body composition on it just didn't look the same. He didn't look as muscular. He didn't look as, his leanness didn't look, he looked a little soft. It just didn't look the same. And so I'm not making excuses for Bobby. I'm just simply saying like age. It's age.
Hold on. Because when you fought Tony, you were what, 37 years of age?
Yeah, I think I was just about to turn 37. Yeah, it was July. I fought him July, I think 14th or something.
So what, Bobby's 38, 39 now?
Something like that, yeah. Yeah.
It's
amazing. And I can tell you this, I know I trained a lot more than fucking Bobby Green.
Yeah. Well, it's
off
funny.
Season for sure.
What's funny is, and you're kind of seeing it, and I had no idea until all of a sudden it was, back when I was, 45 and I was busy as hell, but I was training all the time and everything, and then I got to 50 and I was having injuries all the time and I didn't heal up and things were, and I had all these guys saying, come on, man, you can get on the mat. Dude, I can't right now. I can't. Oh man, what's wrong with you? And they were all 30 some years of age. Right. And now they're all telling me, son of a bitch, man, now I know what you were talking about. I go, oh yeah. It changes. And it's just, I don't care who you are. If you train hard, you're going to get beat down or injured. And then the older you get, it just doesn't heal the same.
No. I told the story. I think I've told the story before, but John Fitch and I used to make fun of Bobby Southworth because he used to complain when John and I would try to knee slide fast and hard through his guard, or we try to cartwheel past his guard. We try to jump past his guard. He's like, bro, guys, don't do that to me. He was fucking 40 years old. I'm like, and I remember us leaving the gym one time to go get sushi afterwards. Like, fucking Bobby's such a pussy. Fucking, we always used to make fun. Like, fucking old guy. Like, what do you do? Like, if you're not gonna fucking train hard,
dude, if you can't do it, then fucking get out.
And then we weren't even 40 yet. We're in our mid 30s and fucking already talking about how painful it was. We just don't train with the young kids in class anymore. We're like, yeah, if you can't control yourself, go over there. And we're thinking to ourselves, it was funny. We're making fun of ourselves. We're like, fuck, remember when we used to make fun of Bobby Southworth because he used to complain? We're fucking Bobby Southworth right now. We just had fun with it, but it's true. You go through these phases where you're constantly educating yourself, and what is correct and how to do things. And, sure, when you're younger, you can get away with it, but as you get older, you got to make those changes. So
it sucks, but it's true. It's just what it is.
Joshua Van versus Tsurya.
Hell of a fight. By Joshua Van.
Okay, I was gonna say, wait a second. It was not a hell of a fight, but it was.
No, it was, because if look at Tsurya had a whole lot of hype coming in behind him. I understand why. He's a phenomenal grappler. He's pulled off some unbelievable submissions in his 10 wins, but he got exposed by a guy who could stop a lot of his takedowns. There was still a couple of takedowns he did. The arm drag he did. Pull over. It was just beautifully done. Come on. It was like, oh, that was so sweet. Set up beautifully. And, went into basically a Kezakatami position. Wasn't able to get anything out of it. And Joshua Van showed that, this is a young kid and he is improving every time he goes out there. He's looking better and better. He's only 23. Josh, do you realize that this is the first time you had two fighters in the UFC facing each other that both were born in the year 2000 or past?
I did see that the other day.
Sick. I hate that.
John,
that's just craziness.
Yeah.
But, that's it. The sport's just continuing to march on, man. That you look at that and you go, wow. Because Joshua Van was born in 2001.
Yeah. I got signed to the UFC in 2001.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what it was. It's crazy. No, I thought he had a great performance.
He did.
He had a fantastic performance. But John, you know what? Let's get into he just got into the top 15. He's ranked number 15. You have Asakura, you got Bruno Silva, you got Charles Johnson, you got Ulanbekov, you got Tim Elliott, Steve Erceg. I want to keep him down there below. I think maybe like an Ulanbekov, maybe a Charles Johnson. One of those two guys for him.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, he's got to get a fight. Bruno Silva's shorter in stature, also good, scrappy.
Tough as hell. Yeah,
those two guys would throw down.
That would be a great fight.
Yeah. So I think he's got to get into that mix, though. He's gonna, this was one of those fights. I think they weren't sure how his opponent was going to come out, but wasn't able to get the takedowns. He did a great job stuffing everything. He landed good shots. He didn't overextend himself. He fought a very smart fight.
The whole way.
Tonight was about game plans for a lot of fighters, making sure that they fought their asses off, but they did what was right, and not a lot of mistakes tonight. A lot of high level fighting from all the fighters. Just didn't translate as fun on TV as we've seen the last couple cards. But
look, there was some. I'm going to be honest. I thought the Joshua Van fight was impressive by him because I knew how good his opponent was at grappling, his ability to stop that, because we've seen when he first came into the UFC, he was having problems with some people taking him down. Super impressive. You know, you can go down and say, you know, Bruno Ferreira, you know, going up against Petrosyan, he was losing. He was getting his ass handed to him. And he pulls off the submission, beautifully done. So you look and go, man, that's what this sport is about. You can be losing in one area, but you pull out where you have a strength against someone and you know, slap on that submission. Beautifully done. Just, I thought overall, you know, Ruffy with the kick and the way he, you know, he set that kick up, beautifully done. Amanda Lemos, although it wasn't an exciting fight, you got to give her credit for it. She fought a smart fight against the person she was fighting. It was a smart fight. Same with, you know, Justin Gaethje and Bahamondes. Overall, and go all the way up to Ankalaev, the people who won tonight fought very smart.
Yeah.
And that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do.
Tough competition. And, you know, and also too, even when you're the better athlete, even when you know you have more tools, all of those things, the other fighter had more experience. The other fighter had, you know, a high fight IQ, whatever it was. Like when you look at Mauricio Ruffy, I mean, Bobby Green's got fucking some ridiculous amount of fights. Ruffy's 12-1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Bobby Green's probably got 50 fights.
Yeah, Bobby Green's 32-17.
There you go.
Like
55.
big difference in the level of not in the level of fights, but a big difference in the amount of fights. I mean, that's a lot. So those guys, like, that was another level and a step up in competition. Ruffy's ready for a top 15 guy as well.
It's calling out Dariush.
Yeah, that's a big fight, John. That's a big fight, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But I mean, let's go ahead. You know what? I want to go back to this Ruffy thing and see, like, if you're to match him up with someone, you know, I wouldn't be opposed to him and Fiziev.
Oh, it would be interesting and stuff, but I look at
I know
that.
He went for Dariush, but
yeah, he's going for Dariush, and I kind of like it. It's a good call out. If you're looking for someone in the top, you know, 15 or anything like that, you know, being honest, I think Grant Dawson would be an interesting fight.
Good one.
You know, and then the other one that would be good would be Moicano. I think Moicano would be a great fight.
Because they're both tall. They both got big frames.
Yep.
They seem both big for the weight class. I think it'd be good. Yeah. And if Ruffy got taken down, how good is he on the ground?
That's,
you know, Moicano's good.
I'm going to say, I think Ruffy's, you know, Moicano's good on his feet. I think Ruffy's a little bit more dynamic.
Oh, absolutely.
On the ground, Moicano's damn good.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's fights to be had there in that top 15.
Yeah.
Very tough fights for him. But, all right, let's go. Bruno Ferreira versus Petrosyan.
Oh man, I'll tell you, like I said, I was so impressed because he was getting his lunch eaten. You know, he was taking big shots. There was the point deduction in the first round, which you look and you go, okay, you got hit twice it had to be fucking 20 seconds apart. I don't know, you know, and he came back with a hard one and stuff. They took a point, so Petrosyan wins the round, but it's an even on the scorecards at 9-9. Goes into the second, and I'll tell you what, he was getting handed. He was taking big shots. He was, you know, starting to really, you could see he was struggling. Ends up being able to, you know, have the fight on the ground and slaps up the arm bar. It was tight. Petrosyan tried to, you know, come out of it, couldn't do it. Ends up tapping, and you go, man, that's the way to take something where you're definitely losing. You know, I'm not saying you can't turn it around, but you definitely turned it around by just ending the fight with a beautiful submission. And I give him credit because he's been known to kind of be that guy who's, you know, called the Hulk. And he's got power in his hands. He hits hard. He's knocks some people out.
In the first round.
Yeah, he did. But you look and you go, he's showing he's well-rounded. I know a lot of his stuff comes from, he was in judo and stuff. But, man, I was impressed with how much abuse he was starting to take in that second round. I'm like, oh, this is getting away from him. And then slapping that on, beautifully done.
Did you warrant the point taken?
You know, I couldn't see how hard it actually hit him the second time, because that's normally what you. The first one was nothing.
Yeah, it was nothing.
Yeah, and so I when it went to look at the replay, I still didn't see, that it was that hard, but I think it was because it was so fast. He's telling him, hey, watch where he comes right back. And it's like, hey, I told you, you got to watch where you're going at. You go right back at it. Okay. Now, again, taking a points is not an easy thing because, man, you're making a big effect and you don't want to be the person, affecting the fight, but sometimes you have to do it. He decided he had to do it.
Are we overcompensating because of last week?
You could be overcompensating because, when people hear all this stuff from the commentators and everything as far as, well, I think there should have been this. And it's like, okay, sometimes it happens.
My whole thing is like Herzog didn't work until the very last prelim fight, I believe. Yeah, he did the Joshua Van Tsurya fight, and then he did. That's it.
Yeah,
he did the co-main event, the Fiziev and Gaethje.
That's because you had a loss of fights too.
No, I understand, John. I do get that, but it's Jason Herzog.
Yeah, I understand. Jason knows if it's a championship fight. So Mark Goddard knew that he was going to be doing the Ankalaev versus Poatan fight. But when it comes to that sheet is given out on the night of the fights, but it's done several days before the fights, before the weigh-ins. And so they've got everyone. And so as soon as they scratch one, that could be your name that you're supposed to referee it. You're scratched. It just happens. So
you guys don't get paid based on how many fights you do, right? You get paid on the show.
You get paid on that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
it doesn't matter if you do one fight or 20 fights. You get paid the same.
Look, I go back to this. I felt like it was an overcompensation for last week. I think that referees had a discussion or commissions had a discussion about it. Obviously, they did. They didn't just not talk about it. And what we saw was okay. Yeah, it was the first growing shot didn't seem like it even really landed. Nah. It was a graze. I think even Rogan said didn't really look like it landed. Just grazed it. Whatever. It wasn't that hard. Okay. Second one, you could hear it hit the cup.
Yep.
Okay. Look, my take on the growing shot thing. I understand it's painful. The thing is, all of us wear tie cups, so there's a pinch.
Smart ones.
A lot of fighters.
Smart ones do.
Yeah.
Oh no, I've seen guys that don't, and they wear a plastic. So there's some of these other ones, and some kick that it's dented inward from the blow, and you go, should have wore a Muay Thai cup.
Well, I mean, didn't you learn anything from fucking Shoney Carter from years ago?
Oh my God. And Shoney would wear an oversized one too.
Yeah, he didn't care.
No.
But you can use it as a weapon. Yep. It's a cup. Just when you have someone's back and you're able to stretch them out, that into their spine is fucking painful.
Look at the armbar from Frank Mir on Tim Sylvia.
Yep,
it was a fulcrum.
Yep.
That was from the cup.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and just having the freedom of being those plastic cups, even when you go armbar, you can still smash it into you.
Oh yeah.
If you have your steel cup on, you don't give a shit,
and it ain't moving.
No, it ain't moving. It's tight. As long as you tie it properly. Yeah. It's very uncomfortable sometimes.
Yes, it can be.
But my point is that I noticed a couple of people. I said, I thought it was a bad take on taking the point away. I think it was just an overcompensation for last week.
Good,
and and we're gonna see how it plays out. I think moving forward, but this is a very slippery slope. You're opening Pandora's box when you start to do things like this in a 3-round fight, in a 5-round fight. We don't have a lot of points to take, and this is where the problem's going to lie. Is fans are complaining now, commentators are complaining now, media's complaining now. They're all complaining now.
Yeah, stand by.
They're going to be complaining more when the fights are if that would have happened in a main event fight where you took a point and the fight was close, and it's yeah, but it barely grazed him. Yeah, but it was the second time. It's okay, now the wrong person won the fight. And now you're just going oh man, now we have a new
champion. To you.
Yeah, I want to.
I've told you this for how long? Look, man, it is a serious thing when you're taking a point. It is.
It's not only that, but I don't think that people understand, media analysts, fans. I don't think they understand. You don't want fucking refs involved in deciding the fights.
You don't want
Just
the referees.
like you don't want the
altering
fucking
the
government involved in your fucking business. Like
That's
you
it.
want all this to stay out. Just stay out. Let the fighters decide what goes on. Bruno was fine. The shot, I'm not saying it wasn't hard. I'm just simply saying like it wasn't. We've seen some bad ones. Remember the Raymond Daniels where he did the spinning heel kick?
Oh, twice.
No, John. It was 3 or 4 times.
No, it was twice that landed hard.
But John, I think he
the
did
same spinning back.
Yeah, the same. But I thought he did it more than twice.
No,
I think it was
twice.
3 times.
It was twice.
Oh, John,
Twice was enough. Dude, I'm telling you,
he couldn't continue, and they were so loud.
Oh, dude,
God, I can't remember that guy's name who he fought. But
oh God, it was
so painful.
It was.
So
it was
painful.
It was bad.
I felt so bad, and the worst part about it was it was during COVID, and so you could hear the cut.
Yeah, everything. Dude, it was right there.
It
was so hard. I mean,
John, do you remember that you could hear him cry after?
Oh, he was crying.
He was crying.
Hey, dude, he was hitting the ground the second time.
Oh man!
Based upon he's crying. He's hitting the ground like
oh.
I was like, oh my God,
you got to take a point. And I think he did it a third time. I want to say
they fought again though.
Did they?
They did. What was this?
I thought that was the second fight. They had fought before.
What was it? Stanonik?
Something like that.
Peter Stanonik or something like that.
Yeah.
Dude.
But that was the worst. If you guys haven't seen that fight, look up Raymond Daniels, and fight was stopped because of
Stanonik
shot. Yeah. You go look that fight up. You could probably find it on YouTube.
George, see if he fought a guy named Peter Stanonik.
Raymond Daniels. Anyways, it was hands down the worst sequence of growing shots I've ever seen in my life.
First time no contest, second time Raymond won.
Yep,
unanimous.
that's it.
Okay, so they fought twice.
Yeah,
I thought they had fought before, but no, the no contest was the first time.
Yeah, that was.
But
I mean, hold on,
it was contest, or should that have been a DQ? You got kicked in the groin 3 fucking times,
dude. The problem was, I want to say that from him getting kicked and this guy taking his time and finally getting back, because that spinning back kick he got hit with the first time was hard as hell.
Yeah.
And it was like 5 seconds. I want to say the fight started that he hit him with another spinning back kick right in the pills.
Yeah.
I was like, dude.
I think was it the second one where he threw like a head kick or something, and he threw the side kick or the spinning back kick right into the cup, like literally like something you'd see in a movie, where he threw the kick and his leg was up, and he kicked him right between the fucking legs, right in the cup. Just nasty. Anyways, if you guys get a chance, check it out on YouTube. It's just disgusting. It really is.
Go ahead and watch this. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's disgusting. All right, let's go ahead and go on down to Morono versus Miranda.
Oh, Carlos Leal against Alex Morono.
Yeah, Leal Miranda.
Yeah,
that's what has his name. I just said that, didn't I?
Okay.
I didn't say Carlos. I said Leal Miranda.
Yeah, it's Carlos Leal.
Okay. Yeah, it says his name's Carlos Leal Miranda. All right. Okay, John. We got it. John.
Well, I don't know. The UFC uses Carlos Leal.
All right. Well, I don't know. It says Miranda on here on his name.
Okay. Well, congratulations, Sherdog.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. This is one of those ones, man. First off, Carlos Leal looked like he was 2 weight classes bigger than Alex Morono. I mean, it was just like, damn, they're the same. I mean, they're both at 170.
Alex looks like a little bit blown up 55-pounder.
Yes, he does. But Alex is always up on his toes and he's got that bounce and stuff. But Leal's there. I mean, the fight wasn't that long, anyways. But let's say the first minute and a half, Alex is bouncing around doing his thing, and he's touching Leal a little bit, and Leal just got this like look on his face at one point, like, fuck this. I'm just gonna walk you down. And he started doing that, and I went, oh, Alex is in trouble. And Alex started taking some big shots, and Alex, being as tough as hell, bit down on his mouthpiece and was like, I got to sling back. And he was slinging back, you know, with everything he had. And Leal just was lighting him up. It was almost like, you know, big brother, little brother. You know, it was just, man. And I have nothing but respect for Alex Morono. I think he's tough as hell. I think he's got a ton of skill. He's fun to watch. He's fought some of the best there is, you know, and always put on a great performance. This one, it was just too big, too strong. Nothing that he was going to do was going to change it.
Yeah, Leal Miranda, John. You see what I did there? I mean, he just, like you said, just bit down on the mouthpiece and was just walking forward. But he also looked like he was starting to get a little tired.
Yeah, a little bit.
Towards the end, you know, they'd fought for 4 minutes and 16 seconds, and they were throwing down that last 2.5, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, if you don't get him out of here, what are you going to be like in the second round when you get back to your corner and you're like, holy shit, I'm tired. Yeah. So if Morono had been able to survive that first round, I wanted to see what the second round was going to be like. I was almost like begging the ref, Tagnoni. Was it Tagnoni? No, it was Keith Peterson. I'm like, dude, let him just fucking go out.
No, he was in trouble.
I want to see what happens in the second round.
I like Morono as like, get him out of there, man.
No, I know.
Done.
I was
felt
actually
bad for him.
I actually thought that it should have been stopped a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those fights. But John, this is the fight that I wanted to talk to you about. Marshall versus Santos.
Yeah, this was a little bit of a little controversy there.
Was it controversial though?
No.
Okay.
I mean, you want to sit there and say, look, it was close, and I you know, it was obvious that Marshall won the first round, in my opinion, and then it comes down to how you looked at the second and third. The second was, you know, it was close. Yeah. You know, and it was back and forth, but you know, I can see how someone could say that. Okay, Santos won it. Same with the third. You know, but I could see where, you know, let's be honest. I think Derek Cleary had it 30-27 for Marshall. I can understand that. It's not a horrible score.
No.
You know, and the other ones are going 29-28 for Santos. This is one of those ones people are going to, you know, sit there and say, oh, you know, controversy is a robbery. Dude, those rounds were so close. Yeah. I mean, it's just a matter of what you're giving more credit to. So I really didn't think that it was controversial. I thought part of it was the commentary was leaning a little bit towards what Marshall was doing, you know, in some of it. So people start to lean that way, but super close fight.
Yeah. I had Marshall winning the fight.
Okay.
But it was close. And I wasn't, you know, and I just got on Twitter and I said, it was a close fight. You know, what did you guys think? And it was like, one of the biggest robberies I've seen. That I'm like, what are you guys talking about?
Yeah, man. It's
like dial it back. Like, come on. Like, it was a close fight. And look, if you would have went the other way, I wouldn't have cared.
Big robbery. Come on.
Yeah.
It was a fucking close fight.
Yeah, it was.
They both fought their asses off.
Yeah. Look, there was a lot of things. I was very impressed with both. Santos using his jab. Both these guys are young. Using his jab. One thing that it's the most underutilized weapon in the sport of MMA. Obviously you see it a lot more in boxing, but you very rarely see it being used effectively in MMA. And he was using it on point. Santos was, you know, and Marshall looked very clean in his striking, very good, very talented, good takedown stuff. Like, I mean, I thought he was a fantastic fighter. Both of these guys, when I was watching, I'm like, damn, this is like a next generation. These younger kids, they're putting
24 for Santos.
John,
he's 24.
They're
15 and 1. 16 professional fights at the age of 24.
I saw the composure in both of them. They both look relaxed out there. They both look like they were having fun. Like, it was a very close fight, but man, they knew not, like, look, I can take chances here. You know, I've got to dial it back here. It was a very strategic fight, and it kind of set up how the rest of the night went. But it was a good fight. It was a really good fight. So I enjoyed watching that fight from beginning to end. Very young, very talented young fighters. These guys are very impressive for how young they are. So good on them. I thought it was a great performance. Hopefully they get a fight of the night bonus or some sort of performance of the night bonuses, whatever. But I thought it was one of the better fights of the night for sure.
Oh, it was.
So, all right, hey, that's going to wrap up our UFC talk. But before we move on, I wanted you guys to make sure you guys join us over at OnlyFans. John and I do extra content over there for you guys. We also do our fan favorite fighter of the month video that's on that, only available on that platform. Also, we do a live chat over there and live show over there once or twice a month. depending on the schedule, but guaranteeing you guys once a month. So join us over there, subscribe to us over there. It is free. I want to thank you guys so much for following us. And I know we've got about 1,500 subscribers over there. I mean, we're no Paige Van Zandt, but I mean, we've got something else going on there.
Yeah,
So
she's got something
cool.
we don't have.
We're enjoying it over there. And like guys, join us over there. Come. Also, BetUS, YouTube 150 is the promo code. YouTube 150 is the promo code at BetUS. And get 150% bonus on your first deposit, 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits. And one thing I got to say about BetUS, and everybody I've talked to too that has used our promo code or gone through our links as well, but is they've talked about the customer service. You know, getting their money out is not a problem. And anytime dealing with them has been amazing. So they're matching their 150% bonus, their 125% bonuses. They love that because they're the only company that does 3 of them, not just a one-time bonus for the first one. They do 3. And then on top of that, being able to get your money out and have a good customer service. If you have issues at all with their website, have issues at all with money, reach out to them. They will get someone on the line that will handle your issues. So that's one of the best things about them. So also Drink Element. I got one right here. Still got one right here. There we go. Drink Element, the best hydration drink in the business. And John got it in his cup. And let's did I just call you Dave? George, what do you got? You got one news clip for us because it's 4 a.m. right now. So let's do one news thing.
Sure, I'll just do one. You sent this a little earlier in the week. You wanted to go at Herb Dean for lying about the MMA Glove Conspiracy. He said he has seen MMA organizations give fighters different gloves, better gloves for fighters they want to see win. You said we have to talk about it, so I'm bringing it up.
John,
What?
look, he said that promotions give fighters different gloves that are known for knocking people out to favor that fighter.
Well, let's put it this way. Maybe true, but it's not in the UFC.
No, it's not.
Okay. And
It's not
it could
in
be.
Bellator, it's not in PFL. It's not in.
No, but it's in one. Just, look, again, I'm not going to sit there and say it's not true. I'm sure there's a reason if he said it. I'm going to say, if you're saying it, then why are you working for that promotion?
No, let me ask you this though. What is different between boxers who can lose the gloves that they want and MMA's fighters being able to use the gloves they want? What's the difference?
Well, there's a difference when it comes to the regulations. That's basically it. When you're looking at, it's not all boxers are allowed to use the gloves they want, but when you get into championship fights, they're allowed to use the gloves that they want. Okay, because championship fights, there'll be several gloves that are available to them, and every fighter likes different gloves based upon what that glove will do. It's the frontal face area of the glove. It's, some are considered, Cleto Reyes gloves are considered knockout gloves in boxing. Rival gloves are considered good punching gloves, but good defensive gloves also. And you got, Grant gloves. There's so many different brands, Everlast gloves. There's so many different ones. But when it comes to MMA, there's a difference in that the promotions are, they have to have certain things done as far as size and weight. But other than that, as long as the glove fits that category, then they can use whatever manufacturer they want. And each promotion is going to have a different manufacturer for their gloves. And the fighters don't get to choose anything about it. The only thing you get to choose is size. Yeah, that's the thing that sucks to me is that, like, look, let's be honest, the UFC gloves for grappling, they suck. They're not great for grappling. They're okay. No, because they're a big block.
Yeah, they're a big block in the front. So anytime you're trying to get underneath the chin, anytime you're trying to get, anything along
pulling your hand out, anything.
Yeah, trying to get your hand behind your elbow, so you can kind of lock in the rear naked, any of those things. Yeah. Trying to get your hand out of a position. If I'm trying to get an ankle lock and I can't get it locked in because my glove won't go behind your calf or your Achilles, there's just a bunch of little things that you get stuck with because they have the big block on your knuckles. Yeah. It would be nice if you had a glove that was also grappler friendly.
Well, there was.
There was?
Yeah, I truly believe that Strike Force, when they had the Fairtex glove,
Yes, that was my favorite glove.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
See? Because I
had no power, so I had to use it for something else. Grappling.
But it did have a very low profile as far as the way the pad was. It wasn't real wide past your hand. There was a lot of good things about that glove. But, when Strike Force died, so did that glove.
You know what about that glove, though? There was a lot of handbrakes in that glove.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it had a very sleek design on the front. It was more bubbled versus like a block on the front. It was like had a little bit more of a bubble.
Well, it actually had almost a curve and an arc
around
the entire thing.
Yeah.
So it had more pad at one point, kind of here at your knuckles. But it was more low profile, and I thought it was a great glove.
Yeah. The most people think like the Pride gloves, like, they're actually beneficial to both knockouts and grappling because it has the neoprene on the thumb to help absorb the sweat, so people can't just pull and slip out of your grip. Most of the padding was on the back, so if you threw like spinning back fist or anything like that, you had a little bit more padding there, but you had almost no padding on the front, so the fans got more knockouts. I mean, it was kind of a very liked glove across most fighters. And
Still used by Ryzen.
Yeah, it's used by Ryzen. Same exact glove. Used by Ryzen, used by Dream. All three of those promotions use the same glove. Yeah, I just remember the old school Everlast glove by Bellator. That was one of the gloves. The
ones that they came up with that were supposedly curved and stuff, they were actually a good glove.
Yeah, they were.
They were a good glove.
They reminded me a little bit of the Pride glove, but it just didn't have the neoprene. It just had it, but it was curved enough and no padding, not a lot of padding in the front, more padding on the back and the nice wrist.
You never got to use the Boxergenic glove, did you?
The Boxergenic.
Yeah, that was in the UFC before you were ever there.
It was the neoprene one.
Neoprene.
Yeah, one. I have a pair on my wall.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I did like those. The only thing I didn't like about them is after you had them, because I had about 6 or 7 pair. I'm down on my last.
Stretched out.
Yeah, they stretched out, and then also on top of that, sometimes guys could rip them.
Oh yeah,
they'd reach inside that little thumb strap that was there, and they'd rip them. Yeah, that's it. But that's why I only have 1 pair left. In terms of do promoters do that?
Do what?
I think it's very small towns. They're like, yeah, give this fighter a glove that can benefit them because they got knockout power. That's true, but I look at it, I'm like, whatever glove you should be able to fight in any glove. And your objective is to not get hit.
First off, there's truly no such thing as a knockout glove.
Okay? You either got power or you don't.
There you go. Like, I'm just going to tell you, because there's a reason why we have bare knuckle boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you'll see not every punch that's thrown knocks somebody out. Okay, yeah. So and that's as hard as it gets. You can sit there and say what you want, but are there differences in gloves? Yes, there are. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
And if a promoter is giving one glove to one fighter and he's trying to give an edge, it's wrong. Just wrong.
It is. I mean, like, if you have a guy who is known for having punching power and you go out there and put pillows on his hands and let the other guy have the smaller gloves, the Fairtex gloves or the Pride gloves, then, I can see that. But I don't know. You should be able to fight in every glove, and obviously, the end result is you shouldn't be getting hit. Like, the objective is to not get.
That is a good objective,
and hit someone back, right? Like that isn't that the point of fighting, really, and to get the win. Anyways, all right. Was there anything else, George? Or was that?
Yes, there is.
Yes, what?
There was a Hall of Fame induction that was announced. It wasn't done yet, but Robbie Lawler is being put into the UFC Hall of Fame. So we both know Robbie very well. And I just wanted to say congratulations. That is well deserved by Mr. Lawler. He has absolutely had an incredible career. Known him since he was a teenage kid when I first met him. And to this day, one of the classy, a guy who was he was a savage in the cage, but just a gentleman, soft-spoken, hardly, did anything outside of the cage that you could sit there and ever complain about. It's just a great guy. So he definitely a good call by the UFC.
Oh, absolutely. I was kind of wondering what was taking him so long.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. There's so much you could say about him in a positive light, and you could tell like he got a little choked up also too. When people were saying all the nice things about him. it's hard not to like him. If you've had a second at all to sit and talk with him, around people, he says less. But if you actually get a moment where it's just like you and maybe one or two other people, I mean, he's very insightful. He's very respectful. He's very kind. He's very he shares his knowledge and whatever it is. Like he's just a good person, man. He was, I don't know. I've always loved it. Watching him fight. I've always loved him in terms of his abilities inside the cage, but I've loved him even more based off of his, the way he's handled things. One of the things that really always stuck out to me was I remember being present when they were trying to interview him and ask him questions about his dad. And he's like, "We ain't fucking doing this. We're not doing it. Like, that's
that
not
sounds
what
like Robbie."
Yeah. And he shut it down right off the bat. Yeah. And I was like, I respect that. That was like something that kind of always stuck with me. I was like, that's a very smart thing. Like, what they're going to do with it. That they're going to run this certain way and you didn't want to be part of it. And that was a very, very smart call by a very young fighter at the time, by the way. I think he was only 20, 21 years old at the time. Yeah. And brilliant. And if you get to know him now, he's the same person he was, 20 years ago, just a little bit more mature and a little bit more wise,
a lot more mature and even a lot wiser.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, he had a remarkable career as far as, he was in the UFC early, the UFC, Dana loved him, and highlighted him on the very first show that they got on, a mainstream channel, which was for the best damn sports show. They got one fight. They chose Robbie Lawler to be that guy. And, when he left the UFC the first time, because, his time there kind of went away. He went to, he did Pride. He went to Elite XC, and from Elite XC went to Strike Force, and kind of muddled through a lot of that. When Strike Force was bought by the UFC and the fighters went back, it was his opportunity to have a run. And man, he had a run because I think Strike Force is the only organization where Robbie had a losing record. And you take a look at some of the fights he had there, he was mostly fighting at 185.
Yeah.
And
he fought in Pride at 185 too. Remember he fought Joey Villasenor?
Oh yeah.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. In Vegas.
My knee knockout, I think is what it was.
Yep.
I mean, he just like you said it right on the head. He was muddling through.
Yeah.
You could tell he didn't want to cut the weight. Yeah. He didn't want to
didn't want to truly change. He'd like to lift weights. Didn't want to really train the way he was supposed to. But when he got the chance to get back in the UFC off of that sale, something bit him in the ass, or someone talked to him and said, "Hey, you have all the fucking ability in the world to be a world champion. Are you going to blow it?" And he went back to 170. He fucking trained his ass off, and he had one hell of a run.
I heard that Dana pulled him aside and said, "Hey, if you're going to come back, you're going to fight at 170." And that was kind of like, "Hey, do you want?" And obviously Dana's always loved him. Dana loved him before. He just, like you said, he was muddling along and just couldn't find out what he wanted to do. He was just didn't know if he wanted to be at 85 or 70 and just couldn't make up his mind. It was a little bit of immaturity at the time. Sure. But I think him coming back and just knowing that, hey, you're here. There's a reason we want you and we can build you. Like 170 right now is wide open for you. GSP not knowing what he was doing and, Rory kind of being the step up and protege kind of thing of GSP. There was a storyline there.
Yeah.
And, and no matter what people want to say, Robbie had really good wrestling, anti-wrestling, I should say.
Good defensive wrestling.
Good defensive wrestling and just big power. Being a southpaw posed problems for everyone.
Yeah,
and so
big power.
Yeah, just big power. And I mean, look, I tell the story about him all the time. The very first time I ever saw him fight, we were in Calusa Casino, I believe, up in up by Redding, kind of up that way in between Sacramento and Redding. Shithole fucking casino. And he fucking laid this dude out, Landon Showalter.
Oh, I remember
Showalter. Yeah, he fucking put him stiff. I was like, who? Because when we were in the back warming up,
did he have the fro back then?
He had the fro, and he had the fucking Hawaiian shorts on.
Yeah,
and I was like, who the fuck is this guy? But then he was there with one of the military guys. Like, oh, he must be good. And shit, it was 19 seconds in. He fucking starched him. Landon Showalter went stiff. His fucking hands were shaking. His foot was fucking
Well, I
bouncing
think
off
we
the
lost
canvas
him.
like a rabbit.
Oh,
I was like, holy shit.
he's back.
Oh, you lost me?
Oh, we lost you. Go ahead.
Oh, jeez. But
19 seconds in, and
he went stiff. Fucking Landon Showalter went stiff. His foot started hitting the canvas like it was a
doing
bunny
the twitchy.
rabbit. No, like a bunny rabbit was tapping on the floor. So it was nasty. All right. Well, hey guys, we want to wrap this show up. It's 5 in the morning or 4 in the morning now. And I want to thank you guys so much for getting to support us. And make sure you guys subscribe to us and hit that link and hit the little thumbs up, the little arrow there and all the thumbs up and everything like that. Leave a comment down below on what you guys thought of the fights. UFC 313 is a wrap. And we had a great time watching the show and great fights, very strategic fights tonight, but definitely a great card. So, John, what would you rate this card before we wrap this up?
Honestly, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but I'd give it an 8.
Okay.
I thought a lot of the fighters fought really smart.
Okay.
And there was a couple of them that, it was a back and forth battle for them. Some of them was just, someone taking over. But overall, I thought there was some strategic. The main event is what people are going to go off of a lot. And although, it wasn't the fight I wanted to see, I give Ankalaev a lot of credit for fighting a smart fight.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I thought tonight was a good night to take a look at what the next generation may look like.
Ooh.
And I'm going to give it actually a 9.
And there you go.
So I'll give it like an 8.75, 9, kind of a little bit more on the lower end of a 9. I'll give it in there. But I mean, I really thought by taking a look at that younger generation, Lucindo, she's got a lot to work on, but we've seen her in doing well before. Bahamondes, like very good, talented fighter, going to make a good run. He's super talented and fun to watch. Joshua Van, obviously. Ruffy, obviously. Those two fighters. This is the new generation of fighters that are coming up.
Yeah. And then you can take a look at the two that we talked about, Marshall and
and Santos. Yeah, both those two. Young kids and making a run, and they looked very composed and talented. Skill levels there. Someone's got to win, someone's got to lose. That's the nature of the beast in this game.
Yep.
So overall, man, I'm going to give it an 8.75.
Nice.
And I like I said, I enjoyed the main event. I know there's a lot of strategy involved, strategic posturing from corners and fighters, but overall, man, great night of fights. So, John, take us away, buddy.
For everyone out there, I hope you enjoyed the fights like we did. If you have a comment for us, put the comment in there because Josh will read it. It's very important for him to be able to read because, this is how he keeps his mind going because,
Well, since I can't read, I have my son read it to me.
Okay, there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed the show and we will see you.